This is Jason's Electronics Repair. Welcome to my ER. Today we are opening a package from a customer. This is a PlayStation 4. At least it's supposed to be a PlayStation 4. We are going to open it up and confirm that and confirm the problem. This was booked in as trace damage on the HDMI circuit. So definitely packaged it well. I'm still determining boxes for my return shipping. I have a couple different options that I'm going to try. Okay, wow, he sent everything: controller, HDMI cable. That should be my check-in sheet. And he wrapped it up in bubble wrap. So there we go. We're going to lighten that up a little bit more. So make sure that the check-in sheet has been filled out correctly. All right. Yep, so the mail-in request has been done. So we will get this PC out of here. Now, I'm not sure if someone has attempted to fix this before, but I do see what appears to be a bag of parts. So let's see here. Okay, so we have some screws. And it appears that we have some ports. So already coming apart. Fantastic. So we have some ports, some screws, like a broken power screw. Okay, so we'll deal with that here in a bit. But he did send everything with it, so that's always good. So it's not damaged in any way. Nope, seems good. Okay, so screws have definitely been chewed up. So let us, serial number matches, let us get this apart. We are going to try the Wera driver set here on this. So that's, I think that's a 9, and you know what? These don't have the it's got a, yeah, these aren't security bits. These don't have the security bit feature on them. So the Wera set is a no-go on a PlayStation. So keep that in mind, guys. If you are doing PlayStations, the Wera set is not going to be the way to go. So it's definitely not a T9. It must be a T8. So I'm using the iFixit kit. So the iFixit kit works. So black screws here. All right. I'm going to take out this screw here. And I'm going to make sure, man, that does not feel like a T8. That feels like it should be a T7 or something. got what else is in here? Yeah, there's a T7 and a T6. Let me get those out. I need them. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if this comes on with a white light just to make sure before I go any further in here. I want to make sure it has a white light. Plug it in. I'm not going to hook up HDMI because I know it has trace damage, but we're going to make sure that it has a white light. Turn that off so we can see it. Want this to go to a white light. Make sure it's good to go. There it goes, white light, so that's good to go. Something with that power button. Yeah, that power button is ganked up, so I'm gonna have to look at that too and let the customer know that the power button is not good. So let's take off this panel here. So that panel, we will get the hard drive out. Let's get this hard drive screw out. The hard drive, it is a 320 gig. Confirm it on camera. It's a 320 gig Hitachi. Seems small. Put that with his stuff. And now we will undo this black case top here. Let's see, what is that? Is that a 7? Oh, that's the 8 again. Yep. So don't see any other screw there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take off this back first and make sure that there's nothing holding that down on this side here. No, I don't see anything. I'm not sure why that won't come off. I'm not sure. Always seen it just to pop up. There it goes. I like to be careful. All right, now what I do know that you need to be careful of with this is doing the power supply. So we are going to come in here with our T8 here. Tweezers. All right. So is that the same as that screw? That is. All right, let's get this one out. Those are Phillips. The Phillips long screws. All right. There we go. All right, so now we're going to open up one more screw. Now what we're going to do is we're going to lift this up very gently. We're going to see where that cable is. Okay, it's right there, so we'll unhook it from the power supply side. I'm not going to touch anything on that power supply. I want to get zapped like some other people. I can unhook the actual cable from the board. All right, now I can come over here and I can start to take apart this unit now. So start taking out all these screws. I don't know why this driver doesn't seem like it's magnetic. Which is very odd. Unless these screws aren't meant to be magnetic. So there's all those screws are the same. Take them here on the mat. All right, so now we need to get the heat sink screws. So put that over here. Okay, so this should pop right off. Okay, that looks good. Got a couple thermal pads that stuck to this side of the board. I'll get them moved over. All right, so put the flame over there. And now this board, let's unhook this right here. And is there any screw? See anything holding the board in? And we will pull this out here. Why does it feel like there's a... Oh, it's got... Yeah, it's got a ribbon cable connected to it still. Alright, so I unhooked the ribbon cables. And then we have this, so we have, I see the trace damage. We will put this up here and we will check this out. Under the microscope, we will use the AM scope today for a little bit. We will also use, let me just get the AM scope up on the screen. And there we go. So let's see what we got. And we'll leave it zoomed out. So, all right, so that's what we're looking at here. So let me have a gander. So definitely has some trace damage. Let's come in here and clean that up a little bit. Let's just add a little bit of solder to those pads and see what happens. Okay, so find my little bit of solder. All right. I'm just going to go in a circular motion, try to ascertain what's going on here. I need some more flux. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wick this. And I'm going to wick with the direction of the pads. Use my big iron to get all that out. Let's see here. Let's clean that up a little bit. We can turn off this. Get this cleaned up here. Some alcohol. All right. So this one's pretty bad. So it looks like I got quite a few missing here. All right. All right, so it looks like, let's see what we have here. Tweezers. So this one's good. This one's good. This one is ground right here. That one's ground. So this one is good. So this one needs to connect to this via, which I can connect it to the diode it goes to. I believe, no, not that one. No, one of them goes to this diode. I'll have to look it up. This one is fine. This one goes to this via here. This one is fine. This one, man, these are huge chunks. This one goes to this via there. The next one over goes to this via there, which is almost ripped off the board. That's going to be fun. That one is almost ripped off the board too. So if I have to run them to the back of the board, that's something. So this one right here didn't clean up with solder, but I think it's okay. It appears to be fine. So I think this ground might be okay too. Yeah, it was just heavily oxidized. I'll clean that up. And then this one to this other via that looks like trash. So that's the job. So I'm going to look up this this one, only the one that has to go here. I need to run. It's probably going to be somewhere over here, since I'm going to have to cross my lines. So I'll use magnet wire. I'll use the stuff the coder sent me, and we'll get this done. So I'm gonna come back and we're gonna clean up these ground points, and then I'm gonna put a port on and start this trace repair. Back in a bit. Okay, here we go. We're going to flood these with some leaded solder here. Get these ground points cleared. Should be able to clear them with this big old iron. We'll find out. I don't like to use hot air around that shield, but I can if I need to. Got a little bit of flux. I've seen people try to sit these down with hot air, and I don't agree with that. Everybody has their own way, but I agree with doing it a different way, and I'll show you that way. Yeah, I'm going to have to use the solder sucker on these and hot air. Yep, so I'm going to use the solder sucker and some hot air. Let me get that out. Let me pause. All right, here we go. I'm not a fan of this, but we're going to do it anyways. So we're going to heat. We're going to get our hot air hot. It's set to 480, 100 airflow. And we are going to boards take a lot of heat. Alright. Taking, I never like doing it this way. Nope. There we go. So we got that done. So we're gonna let that cool down. Get this blob of black stuff off over here. All right, so I am going to pause and get set up for the next shot. So what I'm going to do here is I got these two oxidized pads. I'm just going to hit them with my fiberglass brush to get that oxidation off of there. Expose some copper. All right, and then I need to expose these vias. So I'm just going to do that one. I'm going to come in here with my knife. I'm going to do these vias here. That one. That one. Yeah, it looks like these vias might make it and be okay. So just all right, let's clean that off. Some alcohol. And I need to switch irons and get ready for solder. All right, so I'm going to use my 2032 micro pencil with the 0.6 millimeter chisel tip. I'm going to add a little bit solder flux to that first pin right there. I got my 30 gauge jumper wire. Show you what that looks like underneath the scope. Yep. So I need to get a little bit of solder on my iron here. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm just going to dip it into some paste. Dip this into the flux there. I'm going to tin the tip of this wire here. This wire may be a little big. Let's see. Now, let me get in here. I'm going to have to come at this at a different angle here. All right, so that's tacked down to pin 1. It looks like I have a bridge there. Let's add a little bit more flux to that and clear that bridge. Need to turn the board again. All right, so my wire came off. I need to clear this bridge though. Coating's not all the way burned off on this. Take care of that. All right. So, I'm not an expert at jumpers. I will admit that now. There we go. That's on there. Oh, well. And a little bit like so. Put me some flux down there. And come in here and this coating off. A little bit of solder to my iron. There we go. I'll cut that, trim that. There we go. So that is connected to the pin. That is definitely connected to the pin. I do need to get rid of that bridge on the next 2 pins. pin's not connected. That pin's not connected either. Here's that pin, so I need to solder these down better. So I'm going to add a little bit more flux in here. And I have the wrong iron again. I always find I switch irons a lot. I was tempted to take my tweezers off and hook up my other regular iron, one with a big tip and one with the tip I need. So just take this a minute to heat up here. And we're at 408, 450. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wick some of that away. Wick some of that away on those pins. Let's clean that up a little bit. Check those pins now to make sure they're held down. Yep. They're all solid. That one's still connected to the wire. It is. Now we need to do this one here, this one here, this one, and not this one, but this one. This one's got to go over to this diode right here. So I will be back in a short bit. Hey guys, I forgot to record that last jumper. So there's my pin 15 jumper. They're all connected. I'm going to clean this up. Yeah, I totally forgot to run that. I forgot to hit the camera. I was just in the zone and forgot to do it. I hope I get the edit right on this. So I'm just coming in here and lightly scrubbing this because I want to get some solder mask on it. So this is isopropyl alcohol. It's all tacked down. I just need to come in here and move this over just a smidge. Right. There we go. Make sure that's not touching that pin right there. That's ground. Alright, so now we're gonna sop this up, this alcohol up here. Get in here with a pointed Q-tip. Get in this corner by this pin one here. Should I get all that flux? It is no clean flux. A little bit out of view there. I mainly want to get this residue off the board so I can get the solder mask down. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to check these pins to make sure they don't have continuity between them. So you should hear the beep. So we're going to check this pin here and this pin. Nope. A beep. These two. These two. These two. These two. These two. These two. That one and that one. One and that one. Nope. So no beeping. So we're good there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry 100% and then I'm going to come back and we're going to add solder mask to it. All right, we are ready for a UV mask. Here we go. So I'm just going to hit that one more time with a Q-tip just to make sure I got all the surfaces. Free of flux. All right, so what I'm going to do is I have a tiny needle on here. I'm just going to dab around here like so. And I'll get that down in there on the sides here in a second. We'll let that naturally fall underneath the Alright, so yeah, let's get this in here. like to cover this all up just to make sure there's no issues. All right, so let's see. All right, so now we got that. Clean off my needle. All right, so that seems like it's settling down. So what I need to do now is I need to put the light on it. So I'm going to dump this. This camera is not zoomed in enough. There we go. I'm going to move my scope out of the way. I'm going to come in here. Put this like that. I'm going to get my little UV lamp spotlight thing. We're going to plug it into my built-in USB ports I have. Turn it on, and we're just going to sit it on there like so. So it's going to sit there like that. I'm going to let that cure for a while, and then I will be back. Okay, we have cured the solder mask. Let's just give it a little test here. Yep, it's in hard, so that is good to go. We are going to reassemble this bad boy. Slide the scope out of the way. We have our power cable here. We're going to get already cleaned off the heatsink. So, and I have the console here. So we're going to put this here. Zoom out so we can see. We put on the wrong amount of thermal paste. All right, so we can get out some MX4 here. And we are gonna I put on a little too much, but we'll be good to go. It'll definitely spread out. So I'm going to take this and slide it in there. That in there like so. Now we are going to put our top plate on. And we're going to put our heatsink clamp on. Get our screwdriver here. I think I would have a torque driver to put these perfect. All right. There we go. Now we're going to put in these other screws here. These silver screws, I believe they're T8s. Yep. Back together here. I might fast forward through some of this. This isn't one of those PS4 with like a billion screws, because that would not be fun. I actually have a little screwdriver that would pull these out. I didn't think of using it on this one. So I've got two more here. All right, so that's all those screws. Let's plug in the hard drive. There we go. Hard drive is in. That is a Phillips. There are fancy little stamps on it. Hard drive is in. Let us hook this up here. That hooked up. And then we'll come over here and we will hook this stuff up here. Hooked up. Get our antenna hooked up. All right, we'll get our power supply. And we will plug this in there like that. And we will plug into here. All right, so that looks good. So we're going to put our torque bits in. All right, now we're going to put our Phillips in here. All right, so let us check these contacts on the power button here. Seems all right. Let's just check this here. Looks good there. That's the eject side, so I gotta go this way. There's my power button is. So let's check that, make sure that's good to go. All right, so I want to make sure that power button works. So, all right, so now we can hook it up here So we're going to plug in, we're going to use the HDMI cable from my camera. Hopefully this works. All right, so we're going to plug this into this port here like so. It's a good fit. All right, and we're going to plug in our power. All right. So there we go. So we got that in there like so. Now, let us put the, let's go. It turns on. Let's see if it says no signal. See if we get an output on the HDMI port. I don't even know if this capture card will support it. Never tested it. Might have to disengage it and re-engage it. Let's see here. And scope. What is it? No, it's got a white light, but no signal on the output. It could need an encoder, or it could be my, it could be the way it's hooked up. So let's turn it off and let me run another cable here to a different capture card that I know should pick up the signal. So let's try this here. So this one should definitely pick it up. All right. Let's take this one off and let's put this one on. Let's go to properties. Okay. All right. Let's do that. So let's unhook this cable here. And let's plug in this one. Well, why is that cable so... All right, let's try that cable. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna have to test it on my other TV. I don't have a camera on. A different capture card. It's definitely the encoder. So that's not outputting on that either. Okay. Let's try one more different capture card. Let's just try one more different capture card here. Let's try this capture card. All right, we'll try this capture card now. So let's go in here and hey, look at there. There we go. So so 3 capture cards. I finally found one that works. So this is can start the PS4. Let's connect the controller. So this looks like it's good to go. I'm going to put this all the way back together, and then I will do a full test with resolution and everything. But this looks like it's a fix. I need to test it on the 4K TV if it has 4K, but I need to test it on the TV. Apparently, with all the issues I have, none of these capture cards are letting me do game capture. So I'm going to call it here. I'm going to get this back together and get it sent back. Thank you guys for watching. Here are all the links. Thank you so much. And there's also links in the description. Have a fantastic day.